Welcome, beautiful people, to Afro Korean Love Tale. Please let us know which part of the world you are listening from, so we write a story about your location or give you a shout out in our next video. Thank you for watching and being part of Jae Hoon and Kira's love story. If you are here for the first time, you can check our channel for part 1 to 3, as this is part 4 of this lovely slow burn story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as more captivating stories will be released soon. This is part 4, no spoilers, grab your popcorn, and just enjoy. See you in our next video. Chapter 21, The Unspoken Vows. The first hurdle Jae Hoon faced after Kira's father demanded a conversation was the most difficult. Stripping away the corporate armor and speaking purely as a man in love and desperate for life. The conversation with Mr. Hayes. Jae Hoon arranged a video call, ensuring the highest security and bandwidth. He sat in his office, wearing a suit, but having foregone his gloves, a sign of respect and dependence, as Kira sat beside him, occasionally touching his arm. Mr. Hayes, a formidable figure even through the screen, opened without preamble. Mr. Park, my daughter told me everything. Your condition, the contract, the heir requirement. She says she loves you, but I need to know, are you marrying my daughter for her hand or for her blood? Jae Hoon looked directly into the camera, his gaze unwavering. Mr. Hayes, I understand why you ask. When I first drafted the mandate, it was purely for survival. I was terrified. But the moment I realized her touch was my cure, I also realized she was the only human being I had ever allowed myself to feel anything for. I was desperate to anchor her, legally and biologically. He paused, running a hand over the sleeve Kira was currently touching. I love your daughter, sir. I have no past, no history of romance. She is my beginning and my future. I can now live a life where I can touch, hold, and exist without fear, and that life is only possible with Kira. I need her to live, but I choose her to love. The compensation and the penalty are merely safeguards against the forces that will try to separate us. I intend to honor our 5 years by making her my partner in every sense, and I will be heartbroken if, after that time, she still chooses to leave. Mr. Hayes watched him for a long, silent moment. He saw the vulnerability and the absolute conviction in his eyes, a depth of emotion that no amount of money could buy. You have my blessing, Jae Hoon, he finally said, the tension leaving his shoulders. But if you ever cause my daughter pain, money will be the least of your concerns. Understood, sir, Jae Hoon replied, a wave of profound relief washing over him. I would expect nothing less. The secret contract. With the most important blessing secured, Jae Hoon's urgency to seal the union became frantic. The matriarch's invitation loomed, and the threat of Hyeon and Sojin was escalating. Later that afternoon, Jae Hoon looked at Kira, his eyes blazing with determination. Kira, I want us legally married before we step into the family home this weekend. Kira looked startled. Now? Jae Hoon, we're planning the big ceremony for next month. We just got engaged. I know, he interrupted, pulling her hands into his, but Hyeon and Sojin will not stop. The matriarch's reversal will only fuel their malice. They are already plotting ways to make you appear unworthy. When we enter that house, I want you to enter as my wife, legally, undeniably. It's the only way to give you the protection and authority you need against any plots, including the matriarch's own sudden, unknown plans. The reasoning was sound. It was the ultimate maneuver to secure their partnership. Okay, Kira agreed, a slow smile spreading across her face. But only if Mr. An is the witness and we tell absolutely no one. Jae Hoon moved mountains. Within 4 hours, with Mr. An serving as the only witness, they stood before a judge in a quiet Seoul courthouse. They exchanged rings, the half-heart necklaces they already wore, and signed the official documents. When the judge pronounced them legally wed, Jae Hoon looked at Kira, his smile genuine and breathtakingly free. He kissed her then, a long proprietary kiss that was no longer a secret desire, but a husband's right. Welcome to my life, Mrs. Park, he whispered against her lips. The family home and the fated night. 2 days later, the newly and secretly married couple arrived at the traditional sprawling Park family home. The matriarch greeted Kira with a warmth that bordered on devotion, making Seo-jin's earlier rejection look like childish pettiness. That evening, during a ceremonial tea service, the matriarch personally served them the dark, fragrant herbal blend she had prepared, watching them with an unnervingly pleased expression. "This is a traditional Korean blend for harmony and health, my dears. Drink up." Jae Hoon drank his without hesitation, oblivious to the matriarch's subtle ambition. Kira sipped hers politely, finding it bitter but oddly warming. As the evening wore on and they retreated to the colossal master suite, Jae Hoon's boyhood bedroom, the subtle, slow burn of the aphrodisiac began to take effect. In the suite, the atmosphere was already charged from their secret courthouse ceremony. They were alone, legally bound, and both were reeling from the tension of the day. "My grandmother loves you," Jae Hoon murmured, pulling Kira into a long hug near the window, his breath warm on her neck. "This house is yours now, Kira. This life is ours." Kira felt a dangerous heat rising, a flush that had nothing to do with embarrassment. The air felt thick, and Jae Hoon's touch, which usually brought only peace and stillness, was now igniting a profound aching need. "Jae Hoon," she breathed, pushing back just to look at him, her green eyes dilated with desire. "I feel dizzy, and I want you to touch me everywhere." Jae Hoon, who was experiencing his first true, uninhibited sexual arousal, magnified by the herbal tea and the intoxicating knowledge that she was his wife, didn't need a second invitation. The drug was working, but their love and their new status as husband and wife provided the final, necessary catalyst. The contract was forgotten in the heat of the moment. There were no clauses, no penalties, only the overwhelming, vital need of two souls, now legally one, finally merging. The matriarch's plan had worked, ensuring that the heir would be conceived not just out of necessity, but out of a ferocious, consuming love. Chapter 22: The Temptation and the Ultimatum. The aftermath of the herbal tea. Kira and Jae Hoon returned to their penthouse, wrapped in the intimate glow of their secret marriage and the passionate night at the Park residence. The 5-year contract felt less like a prison and more like a formality over a foundation of absolute, volatile love. "I think your grandmother is playing chess with our lives, Jae Hoon," Kira murmured, leaning into his chest on the couch. Jae Hoon chuckled, a rare, relaxed sound she now cherished. "I agree. The harmony and health to you was far too effective for mere diplomacy. But as I am now legally bound to my beautiful angel and likely a father-to-be, I am grateful for her foresight." They were in their honeymoon bubble, but the corporate world and the rivals within it waited outside. The matriarch's fierce acceptance of Kira, combined with the successful consolidation of the merger, had pushed Yoo Seo-jin to the brink. Junho's confession. Seo-jin, having heard nothing but excuses and delays from Junho, finally tracked him down at a private art gallery opening. She cornered him, her voice laced with venom. "You've had a week, Junho. The engagement is confirmed, the matriarch adores her, and you have done nothing but discuss logistics with Kira Hayes. I asked you to break her, not build a relationship with her." Junho met her glare with an unfamiliar coldness. He was done with the games. "I can't do it, Seo-jin. I won't. I don't deal in malice, and Kira is extraordinary. I won't ruin her life just to satisfy your wounded pride. She deserves a clean slate, not a heartbroken retreat." "So, you've fallen for her," she scoffed, her laugh brittle. "How convenient. Now she has 2 lovesick fools vying for her attention, and one of them is my worthless cousin. You will execute the plan, or I will leak the details of the aphrodisiac plot and your involvement to the matriarch myself. You choose. A quick heartbreak for Kira, or the total ruin of your family's reputation and your standing with the Park Group." Cornered, Junho agreed, but he vowed to handle the situation his own way. He called Kira and arranged a final urgent meeting, claiming it was critical for the merger's financial structure. The temptation. Jun-ho met Kira at a secluded, glass-walled cafe overlooking the Han River. He was dressed impeccably, exuding an effortless charm that was a stark contrast to Jae Hoon's tense intensity. He was everything a woman could want: wealthy, handsome, emotionally available, and entirely unburdened with secrets. He started the conversation professionally, but quickly moved to the point, pushing a document across the table. It was a formal, legally binding offer. "Kira," Jun-ho began, his gaze sincere, "forget the merger. Forget Jae Hoon's condition. I know about his coercion, and I know you deserved a proposal of pure, unforced love. This document outlines an offer from me, a non-transactional partnership. I will fund your American company completely, match Jae Hoon's 5 billion won compensation as a signing bonus, and transfer the 3 properties immediately. I ask for no contract, no 5-year clause, and no hair mandate. I offer you an equal, loving partnership where you are chosen for who you are, not what you can do for me. I love you, Kira. Come away with me." Kira felt a genuine pang of longing. This was the life her parents had, a spontaneous, romantic, easy love. Jun-ho was offering freedom from the intense, constant pressure of being Jae Hoon's anchor. She looked at the elegant document, then back at Jun-ho, seeing the sincere pain in his eyes. "Jun-ho," she said softly, sliding the document back, "I believe you, and what you're offering, a life free of secrets and biological necessity, is beautiful. But I already chose Jae Hoon, and I didn't choose him because I had to, or because of the money, or because he was a challenge." She reached up and touched the half-heart necklace beneath her collar. "I chose him because his need is my peace. He is the most vulnerable man in the world, and I am the only person who can keep him safe. That is not a burden. That is the greatest gift of trust I have ever received. My love for him is messy, complicated, and entirely faded. I am already married to him, legally married, in a courthouse because he was terrified to wait another second. I thank you for the offer, but I cannot and will not accept it." Jun-ho's shoulders slumped. He had lost the game, but he had finally played with honor. The ultimatum. The fallout was immediate. Seo Jin, furious at Jun-ho's failure and realizing the depth of Kira's commitment, decided to move on the only remaining weakness, exposing Jae Hoon's use of an aphrodisiac to the wider family council. However, Jae Hoon had already anticipated her move. He had noticed Jun-ho's meetings with Kira and recognized the signature of a distraction plot. He called an emergency meeting with Hyeon and Seo Jin in the Park Group conference room, securing the room and ensuring Mr. An was present with the file. "The time for games is over," Jae Hoon stated, standing at the head of the table, his demeanor cold and lethal. He laid out 2 printouts. The first was the bank transfer receipt for the exorbitant sum paid to the waiter who drugged Kira, tracing the funds back to a shell company Seo Jin controlled. The second was a transcript of Hyeon's desperate communication with Seo Jin about the aphrodisiac plot. "You both attempted to cause my fiancé, my wife, physical harm and irreparable reputational damage. The penalty for corporate sabotage and attempted harm to a family member is exile and the forfeiture of all corporate stock options. I have the evidence. The matriarch now knows the truth about my health, and she will not tolerate threats to her future matriarch." She sneered, trying to bluff. "You won't do it, Jae Hoon. It exposes your own family's shame." "My shame is already cured," Jae Hoon countered, placing the hand over his heart where Kira's touch always lingered. "But I will give you both an ultimatum. You will both sign documents immediately, a complete, verifiable withdrawal from all part group interests for 5 years, or I deliver this evidence to the matriarch and the public prosecutor general. Your choice. Quiet banishment or total destruction. Hyeon, seeing the absolute finality in his cousin's eyes and knowing he was beaten, signed the document first, bowing his head in grim acceptance. He had lost the woman and the fight. Seo Jin, venom pooling in her eyes, realized her power was gone. She signed the document, slamming the pen down, her last hope extinguished. Jae Hoon watched her, knowing this was only the beginning of her hatred, but the physical threat was neutralized. As Seo Jin stormed out, Jae Hoon turned to Hyeon, who was packing his things. Hyeon, I know you love her, but she is mine. I hope you find peace. I hope you're truly cured, Jae Hoon, he muttered, not looking up, because you won the war, but you never won the right way. Your secret will always keep her bound. Jae Hoon watched him go, knowing that the greatest remaining challenge was not an enemy plot, but proving to Kira that their love transcended his lifelong necessity. He walked to the window, the city lights shimmering below. The threats were gone, but the marriage contract, the symbol of his coercion, still remained. He knew exactly what he needed to do to truly claim his wife. Chapter 23. The Morning After and the Farewell. The Anchor and the Flame. The morning sun, filtered through the thick drapes of the Park family's master suite, did little to wake Kira. She was cocooned in silk, warmth, and the heavy, satisfying exhaustion of profound fulfillment. When she finally stirred, she became aware of the scent of expensive sandalwood and the soft, steady weight of a body press close to her. She was lying on her side, sheets tangled around her legs, her bare shoulder and arm exposed. Her cheek rested on her folded hands, and when she opened her eyes, she realized Jae Hoon was already awake, propped up on his elbow, watching her. His dark, penetrating eyes, usually masked by intensity, were now soft, warm, and entirely possessive. He was smiling. Outside the opulent contains of the bed, the room was a subtle chaos. A discarded suit jacket on a velvet chaise, a tie hanging from the doorknob, 2 pairs of shoes abandoned near the Persian rug. The remnants of their passion littered the suite, silent testimony to the 3 feverish nights they had shared since their secret courthouse marriage. Jae Hoon slowly reached out, tracing the curve of her bare shoulder. He then kissed it, sending a fresh wave of warmth through her. He moved to her neck, leaving a trail of soft kisses down her spine before returning to claim her mouth in a demanding, longing kiss. When he finally pulled back, both were breathless. Kira, her eyelids heavy with renewed desire, lifted an eyebrow and whispered, "Babe, 3 nights in a row, and you still have all that strength?" Jae Hoon only replied with a low growl of pure uninhibited desire. He didn't answer with words, but with action, kissing her everywhere, claiming her skin. When he finally found his way inside her, Kira's gasp turned into a moan of his name, a sound that drove him past the point of restraint. He rode her with the primal energy of a man unleashed, and when she cried his name in the throes of pleasure, he claimed her mouth, pouring his own release into her. They lay still afterwards, their breaths slowing in unison. This profound intimacy, forged in secrecy and necessity, had surpassed every expectation. They knew then with absolute certainty that they were each other's cure, home, and destiny. Hyeon's ultimatum. Later that morning, while they were sharing a quiet, traditional Korean breakfast delivered to the suite, Kira's phone rang with an unknown Seoul number. Jae Hoon frowned as she checked the screen. "Hello?" A familiar voice came through, thick with regret. "Kira, it's Hyeon. Please, don't hang up. I know I have no right to ask, but I need to see you. I owe you a massive apology, and I need to do it in person before I leave." "What do you mean leave?" Kira asked, her voice cool. Jae Hoon, alerted by the name, leaned forward. "Who is it?" he mouthed. Kira subtly mouthed his name back. Hyeon pleaded, his voice cracking slightly. He insisted his conscience wouldn't allow him to leave Seoul until he had cleared his name or at least asked for her forgiveness. Kira relented. Fine, Hyeon. We can meet for a quick coffee at the cafe near the office later this morning. Jae Hoon immediately interjected, his protective instinct surging. I'm coming with you. Absolutely not. Kira turned to him, putting a reassuring hand on his arm. No, you need to stay here. I can handle Hyeon. He's not stupid enough to pull anything in public, especially now that he's been banished. Besides, he's coming to apologize. You need to trust me, Jae Hoon. Reluctantly, Jae Hoon agreed, but he insisted on having Mr. On covertly observe the meeting. A love bite and a final plea. Kira met Hyeon at the quiet cafe. She had attempted to conceal the visible love bite high on her neck with makeup, but the delicate bruise was evident beneath the layer of foundation. Hyeon noticed it immediately. His face, already pale and etched with sleepless regret, tightened with a sharp pang of jealousy in final realization. Seeing the undeniable proof of his cousin's claim, he knew he had truly lost her. His apology was labored and genuine. He struggled to articulate his shame, admitting he had initially believed Jae Hoon had coerced Kira into the contract to secure the merger and an heir. I honestly thought I was doing you a favor, Kira. I thought I was giving you an out. I only wanted a photo, a sleeping pill, not an aphrodisiac. I didn't know how dangerous or reckless Serojin's plan was. I was so stupid. I will never forgive myself, but I need you to find it in your heart to forgive me. Kira looked at him, seeing the genuine remorse. She understood Hyeon's initial motivation had been fueled by rivalry and a flawed perception of the contract. I forgive you, Hyeon, she said gently. But you need to understand that the contract is over. We are together because we choose to be. Jae Hoon is my husband, and I love him. Hyeon's eyes locked onto hers, desperately searching for any sign of hesitation. I'm leaving the country today, he stated, his voice low and intense. I won't give up on you, Kira. I won't believe you truly love him until I know, without a shadow of a doubt, that you are happy and that he isn't somehow still tricking you. If you ever need me, if he ever hurts you, I will be back. I hope you wish me well. Kira simply wished him well and left, understanding that Hyeon was not just saying goodbye to a woman, but to his entire life and soul and his rivalry with Jae Hoon. She returned immediately to Jae Hoon, her heart settled. The external threat had been neutralized by the undeniable truth of her choice. This is the end of part 4. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and put on your notifications so you'll get notified whenever we upload a new video. Comment below which team you are on. Team 1, Jae Hoon. Team 2, Hyeon. Team 3, Junhoo. Also let us know where you're watching us from. Thanks for watching, and see you in part 5.